Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi everyone. We come to our final section on the fractional reserve banking, and we know quite well that the Islamic Bank were set up, within a dual financial system, and it has to be set up within the current conventional banking framework that operate under the fractional reserve banking. And for that reason, the Islamic Bank will have to observe the rules and regulation of the fractional reserve banking. And this is one of the factor that was mentioned by the critics of Islamic banking. They were saying that Islamic banking is not Islamic because the Islamic banking is based on the fractional reserve banking. And of course, to some extent, there is some truth in it, but the statement need to be carefully refined, because the Islamic banking can be overhauled or it can be reformed, to operate within its own, reserve system. It don't have to operate within the fractional reserve banking. The Islamic Bank can operate as a full reserve banking, even though they are operating or they are doing business within the conventional fractional reserve banking. So this is why I was saying that the critics of Islamic banking should not give up on Islamic banking and going into a new direction. So if they abandon Islamic banking, thinking that it cannot be overhauled or it cannot be reformed, this is wrong, because I would say that there is a possibility that Islamic Bank can operate under a full reserve banking, and that will not get them into trouble from the Basel Accord, and the bank will still be recognized as a bank that is able to perform within its parameters. What we see that can happen to Islamic Bank that operates on the leverage model, meaning that the Islamic Bank will use leverage fund or borrowed fund to make murabaha or to make tawarruk. So when the Islamic Bank is driven by that leverage modality, then for sure we can see that the Islamic Bank will operate like any conventional bank, where the deposit will be used to make loan. So for Islamic Bank, the deposits will be used to make tawarruk or murabaha, and this murabaha financing will be deposited in the in the system, so that it will become a new source of deposit for the bank, and this new source of deposit will be used to make new murabaha, new tawarruk. So this new tawarruk will be deposited into the banking system, and new deposit will be created, and this new deposit will be used to make new murabaha, new tawarruk, and that is how we see that the deposit will multiply and multiply over and over again until we see that the amount of money created by the bank, money in the sense the M1, which is the currency plus bank deposits. So bank deposit is money, and when banks create new deposit from the new loan issued earlier, then this is how the Islamic Bank is engaged in money creation under the fractional reserve banking, because the modality of the Islamic Bank is based on debt funding, where debt fund will be used to make debt under the purview of tawarruk and murabaha, right? So we can see that in the conventional setup, we can see, for example, the 2008 subprime crisis, is driven by riba. Of course, the commercial bank were making, enormous amount of loan and subprime loan. And when they make subprime loan, they make this loan to those people who are not viable at all, people with low credit scoring and with no jobs. And eventually we will see that this new subprime loan will become new deposit, and new deposit will become new subprime loan, and so on. The deposit will multiply, and we can see that the money creation, will be, will explode, leading to asset bubbles. And this asset bubble, when they pop, the value of the mortgage will collapse. And coupled with rising interest rate, we can see that many of these borrowers were not able to pay their loan, and that will cause huge amount of loan default that end up with the equity value being lower than the loan value. So this is when we have this collapse in the mortgage loan market. And we can see also that the investment bank, they were bundling this subprime loan into security or mortgage-backed security, MBS. And when this subprime loan get into default, so this MBS become toxic, meaning that it has deteriorated in value when backed by the defaulting subprime loan. And we can also see that from this, from this so-called issuance of MBS, people are worried about whether this MBS can perform. So they created this CDS, or credit default swaps, to ensure that the holder of this MBS are able to get their money back if the MBS got into default. So all of this, so-called development of securitization and CDS market, it all emerges from the creation of money and deposit, that somehow fuel the creation of MBS and CDS. And when we look at the Islamic bank, how the Islamic banking product, which is debt-based, for example, deposit product, CASA, is based on Qardu, and deposit are based on Tauruk. So these are all, leverage funding, money that the bank acquire from the depositor through debts, and the Basel Accord will basically define this kind of deposit as loans. So there's no way that the Islamic bank can run away, because once they label their funding product as deposit, automatically Basel see that this is a loan that the bank acquire from the depositors. So these deposits, were used to make murabaha, to make aitab, to make tawarruk. And when we look at the regulation, 5% of the deposit fund, the cash reserve, need to be put as SRR of 5 million, and the rest of the reserve can be used to make murabaha of 95 million, right? So when the bank make murabaha of 95 million new debt, this new debt will be deposited into the banking system, where a new deposit of 95 million will be created over here, right? And then again, this $95 million will be used to make new murabaha of 90.7 million, based on SRR of 5%. And this new murabaha will be deposited in the banking system that create new deposits of 90.7 million, and so on. So this money deposit creation, will multiply and multiply until we see that the total deposit created by the banking system is equal to 2 billion. So we got this value, based on the formula of total deposit creation is equal to the initial deposit divided by the SRR, and that will be 100 million divided by 5%, and that will be 2 billion. So we can see that in the Islamic banking, that the banking system create an enormous amount of money, 2 billion, relative to the 100 million of government money or the fiat money. And this is how we must be able to see the importance of control to make sure that the regulator is able to control the creation of money by the commercial bank, whether these are Islamic or conventional, because if there is excessive lending or excessive borrowing, it will fuel inflation. If there is refusal to make loan, refusal to issue murabaha, then there will be loan contraction and there will be no deposit creation, and that will be very bad for the economy, because when there is no deposit creation, there is no money that can be lent away by the bank, and this will make the economy more and more contractional. So what I'm trying to infer here is that the critics of Islamic banking, they should not give up on Islamic banking and get into the other dimension of Islamic finance, like social finance, wakaf, zakat, and all that, because the Islamic banking system can be reformed or it can be overhauled, and turning it into a full reserve banking system, that will be more sustainable, that can dilute or pacify economic volatility, the boom and the bust. And this I will discuss in the coming video, in view of the fact that Islamic banking, can move forward as a full reserve banking, by, for example, limiting the use of deposit fund. So deposit fund, if they were deposit fund, which the bank will mobilize for transactional purposes, and this deposit fund will not be used to make loan, and any excess savings or any investment that will be done through the investment account fund, where the use of the investment account fund will not be in the loan market. It will be used in the so-called real sector market under the pretext of real sale, real lease, mudarabah, istisna, and salam, musharaka, and so on. This will be an exciting journey when I take you through this full reserve banking, inshallah, which I will cover in the next video. I'll see you again, guys. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you.